I was supposed to be saying welcome back, everybody, because we were supposed to have given a BioForward update, and then you would have had a 15-minute break. But no, instead we had some very awful technical difficulties. Like I wrote in the chat box, if CBS News can go down, we didn't want to be showing them up. So you didn't get to see the BioForward update when you were supposed to, but maybe we can do it at the end if everything's going well. And if those of you that can stay from 2 to 2:30, I will also probably be pitching in for Jay Hill, our chairman and our treasurer. But anyway, I'm very excited to have this panel discussion. We're seeing from 3 companies, Aldevron, PPD, and Eurofins, the value that they see in expanding in Wisconsin. Although the panelists certainly need to address the coronavirus and their impact on their companies, we felt it was important to have a subject other than only focusing on COVID, because I don't know about the rest of you, but I need a break. So we have certainly experienced tremendous growth in our industry during the last 8 to 10 years, and we're looking forward to publishing our 2020 economic impact study that will be released this fall, which will continue to demonstrate the impact that we are having. But then today, we're certainly going to be hearing from these 3 companies. First will be Michael Chambers with Aldevron, followed by Tara Jones of PPD and Ross Gulata of Eurofins. Each really represent different sectors of our industry and different backgrounds to talk about their expansions. I won't be reading any bios, but you can find those on our main page of our program. And reminder, if you have any questions for these panelists, we do hope to have some audience questions at the end. You can email Mike Harrison at mharrison@bioforward.org and just put question in the subject line. So with that, Michael, let's start with you and give us the story of Aldevron. Can we hear Michael? There we go. Okay, I'm not hearing Michael.
Hi, how's that?
Oh, there we go. No, I can hear you. Go.
Thank you, Lisa. Perhaps we can advance to just the second slide. So, I'm really very grateful for the invitation to speak today. Thank you. It's really an honor. The state of Wisconsin and BioForward has been such an important part of our history, and I really appreciate the opportunity to share our story and to give an update on Aldevron and to talk about what we're doing. If we could advance to the history slide. So every day I get to come to work with 500 people who are just extremely dedicated, and we're all united by a shared purpose to really help enable life and improve life and save lives for people around the world. And we do this by supporting our clients who are developing revolutionary cures. The field of genetic medicine is just achieving remarkable things right now. I mean, there's hope for so many disease conditions and conditions where there wasn't hope before. And we make critical recombinant proteins and products to help our clients develop new therapies for patients who need them in these areas. And this all started back in 1998. We were, John Ballantyne and I were students at North Dakota State University and began making plasma DNA for DNA vaccine researchers. And this evolved into the company that we are today. And again, Madison and Wisconsin have been so important to our history in more ways than one. I mean, we our first clients were in Madison, and the state and the region have always sort of been an inspiration of how we've built things here in Fargo and how our satellite facilities operate. So some key highlights with Madison include 2009 when we launched the protein business unit, and we started with 6 people. This was led by Tom Foti, and Tom has just done an awesome job of building a culture, taking Aldevron's existing culture and combining that with the rich history, the rich biotech history in Madison, and really just building a great team to carry out our mission there. So that all started in 2009. Largely formed people coming out of Novogen, another great Madison company. In 2012, we expanded for the second time into our current location at the University Research Park from our original location across the street. And this year we announced another expansion where we're more than doubling in size. We're getting close to 50 people now. Corporately, Aldebaran has well over 500 people. We'll hit 600 people sometime this year. And we're in the process of building a 190,000 square foot addition here in Fargo that I'll talk about a little bit later. So if we can advance to the next slide. Our company is really built around 6 guiding principles. Some of those include team, as mentioned before. The team in Madison is a great example of that, just mission driven. We are a company of scientists for scientists. So we work very hard to really understand the fields that we serve, what our clients are trying to achieve, what their patients require. We invest in patient advocacy, for instance, in an effort to really serve the industry. Our field is moving very fast. This is sort of a new world that we're all exploring together. New technologies like gene editing and gene therapy are at the forefront here, and that requires a whole new way to look at things like quality and regulatory expertise. So we have people that focus on that. We are big believers in innovation and partnering. We have very deep client relationships. Some of our first clients were in Madison. I saw Mary from Formiga chatting earlier on the chat line. So hi, Mary, and many others that we work with. And then we are continuously investing in manufacturing capacity. And these all, are in the context of being very client focused. And we have 4 platforms that we use: messenger RNA, plasmid DNA, proteins. That's what we do in Madison, is manufacture enzymes and design enzymes and proteins for many different applications. And we have an antibody unit in Freiburg, Germany. So if we advance to the next slide, Aldebaran products and services are in the gray box, and they are consumed by clients that are in this growing therapeutics market that I talked about. There are many new ways to deliver genes in genetic medicine. So we're focused heavily on cell therapies, on gene therapies. There are 6 or 7 approved gene therapies right now. There are hundreds in development, and Aldebaran is involved with many of those. One thing that's specific to our Madison group that we're quite proud of is that our team developed and made the first gene editing enzymes that were used in industry-sponsored clinical trials in the US. And that's rapidly expanding. The ability to go in and modify and repair and edit existing genes is, again, truly revolutionary. It's being applied in many fields, and everything from ophthalmology to neurology, to things like hematology, beta thalassemia, diabetes, and other things like that. And that's an important part in history, and we're really quite proud of the team for having accomplished that. Wisconsin has been very, very important to us for many, many reasons. It really is a third coast. Madison is a third coast of biotech. Promega, for instance, was a big inspiration for many biotech companies there, but also for Aldebaran as one of our first clients. And there's many things to highlight there, including the university's involvement in terms of tech development. It really is a world-class university. The research park was a model for the rest of the country to look at and develop, and we've certainly benefited from that, and the technologies that come from that. But the educational system as well. Madison's 2-year college has been very, very important to Aldebaran in terms of helping us fulfill our workforce needs. And several employees receive their training from these institutions and others, and we continue to build on the partnerships to foster that. But Madison also allows us to recruit from all over the world, including the coast. One example, Nicole Kavanaugh is our manager of technical operations. She came from Madison from Boston, and Sandy Tao joined our team. She's our QC manager, and she joined us from San Francisco. So we're able to really recruit a world-class workforce to that. If we could advance to the next slide, I just want to talk a little bit more about the innovative ecosystem that we have and expand on that. And there are many examples, and just to highlight a few, we have a great partnership with Dr. Saha, Dr. Chris Saha's group at the University of Wisconsin. He is a world leader in CRISPR technologies. Chris actually came out and spoke at a breakthrough symposium we held in Fargo a couple of years ago. It's an example of a very synergistic relationship that we have with the university. We have multi-year relationships with the Industrial Engineering Department of the University of Wisconsin, and they've helped us develop quick response manufacturing technologies and protocols. And there are a lot of local partners too. I mentioned the University of Wisconsin Research Park has been our home and really been essential to our growth and our future growth. And we'll talk more about that in a second. And BioForward has really been enabling to Aldevron and has helped us right from the beginning. I remember when we were first expanding, when Tom called me up, I think that was our first meetings with people from BioForward, and that really paved the way for us to build the program we have there. And a specific program that I'll call out is a Select Savings Program. That's with BioForward partners that has helped us to really cost effectively expand and procure raw materials and things like that. So if we move to slide 7, just a note that we just expanded, and we're completing that expansion now. We have over 21,000 square feet of purpose-driven space. And I would like to call out one group that's really helped us. That's Findorf Construction. Has really been important partners, critical partners in this expansion project. And we will continue to expand and grow. And the next slide has a shot from our fermentation facility. This is we have a 1,000-liter fermenter that will not only support Madison, but supporting Fargo and our other locations as well. We've invested in people. As mentioned, we're in close to 50 people now. We're continuing to train and grow. And these new technologies that we have, the systems that we have are enabling logarithmic growth. And so we expect this trend to continue as our client base expands and the technologies that we develop expand. The next slide was a lot of fun. In October of last year, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and we got everybody together. So here are some my colleagues from Madison. We were joined by some people from Fargo as well. And just a great example. The picture really conveys the energy of the team and the enthusiasm that we have there, and we're just really excited for the what's coming in the coming months and years. And then finally, I want to just show you a picture of Aldevron's campus. This is our Fargo campus. The building in the middle is our current building, and we're expanding to the north and the south and to the west. The campus will eventually house 1,000 people. The new building is slated to, the first new building is slated to open the first quarter of next year. And I want to show this because this is the same kind of scale that we'll eventually be thinking about in Madison, that we will grow to in Madison. And our success in Fargo could not happen without the core team that we have in Madison. So we're very thankful for that. We're very thankful for the history that we have with Wisconsin, and look forward to growing long into the future. And so the final slide, I just want to thank you again for the opportunity to present today. And you're doing a great job with I know we have some technical issues today, but really a great response to those. And I look forward to the rest of the presentations. I think you're off, Lisa.
You're muted.
There, am I back on?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? All right, there we go. I muted myself so you guys weren't hearing me always shuffling around. Sorry about that, everybody. Michael, I want to thank you for presenting, and just, again, congratulations on everything you've done to start that company in North Dakota, and then the partnership and what you've done in Madison. It's a great success story, so thank you. Next, we're going to hear from Tara Jones with PPD, and I'll take it from here, Tara.
All right. Thank you so much, Lisa. Excited to be here and talking with you all as well, and really enjoyed hearing about Aldebaran from Michael. So that was wonderful. From a PPD perspective, we are obviously a pretty large global company, and we can take a look at the next slide as I give you a little bit of background. So PPD started in 1985, so quite a while ago, as a one-person consulting firm in North Carolina. So our global headquarters are based in North Carolina, and we have just really enjoyed a long period of organic growth and acquisitions that have led us to a really successful organization. So we are sitting at over 23,000 professionals across the globe. And that, of course, includes our Madison campus, which I'll get to in a few minutes here. But what I find really interesting is, having started in our headquarters in North Carolina, we are a really big player in North Carolina. We're a big player in the CRO space. So we are a contract research organization, and we partner across multiple sectors in terms of biotech, pharmaceutical, and governments to provide clinical trial and drug development support. And with that, being in that space, we have a big presence in North Carolina. And specifically, when I think about Madison, I'm always find myself interested in, as I'm talking to people there, how often I sort of hear like, "Oh, PPD, what do you do? Who are you?" So we have a really big campus there. And specifically, when I think about Wisconsin, if you can move to our next page, we really think about our laboratory business. So as a clinical research organization that's been really successful in all really providing a large number of service lines, so we can do full service support for clients across the industry. So that's anything from monitoring clinical trials, providing data management services, biostatistics, and then into our laboratory division. So we have our site there in Middleton. That is actually our third largest global site. So we have a large investment in the Madison community, and are really excited about the growth we continue to have there. And that really is our GMP lab. So when we look at our laboratory business, we're focused in a number of areas, and here you can kind of walk through what those labs are. So we do bioanalytical work, which also we have a small lab in Middleton that's focused on bioanalytical work. But then we also expand our services through biomarker, central labs, vaccines as well. And again, the campus and presence we have that's so large in Middleton, and that business growth is really driven through our GMP lab. So I'll talk a bit more about what that history looks like. You can move on to the next slide. So we acquired a small lab in Middleton in 1996 with really about 20 employees. So it's been a really successful journey for us, for people who are, maybe graphically oriented and like to think of graphs. We've had that strong, straight trajectory of growth, both in our employee base and the success of our business when we think about the GMP lab. And the work that we do there is really focused on CMC testing for our clients and ensuring that we can help them deliver safe products to market. So we offer services from biologics and small molecules. We'll look at kind of all the service offerings in a moment. But again, we do have a really large presence there. And one of the things that I think about often, because I come from a talent perspective, is thinking about Madison as an area of growth. We've had a tremendous amount of success, and being that we're a CRO, our product is really our services, which means our people are really key in what we do as an organization and our success. So kind of piggybacking on some of the things Michael said, the UW education system is really critical for us as well. And we've found great success in the caliber of talent coming out of those universities, their ability to engage and drive people to be interested in the sciences. And that continues to be really important for us and something that we think about and are focused on a regular basis. So in terms of our Middleton lab, and we can kind of go on to the next slide here, you can see our GMP lab is global. Our largest contingency of that of that lab is based there in Middleton. And again, offering a number of services. We've been expanding year over year, like I've mentioned, and really up into this year, again, another release, opening another building. So we've got 13 buildings in the Middleton area. And our most recent expansion is 45,000 square feet for our 13th building, focusing a lot on our ability to support biologics and gene and cell therapy work, which is really a key driver for us at this stage. So in terms of, I know just really wanting everybody, I know we're trying to not talk too much about COVID, but we'll touch on it because certainly it's just live and at the forefront for most people right now. For us as an organization, we have been very grateful from a business perspective to not have been negatively impacted from a volume of work perspective. We've had the opposite happen. We are really excited to be a part of the solution right now in helping our clients deliver life-changing therapies. We're at the forefront of vaccine development. And so being a part of that has been so empowering for us as an organization, for our staff who are just working on it, and truly committed to that, being part of the solution. So we really take the focus from our perspective is how do we maintain business continuity and the health and safety of our employees? And that's really where we've had to think about how we'll pivot as an organization to continue to deliver, to ensure that we can support the clients and the work that's needed to be done and keep everybody safe. So with that, I think in terms of looking at PPD as an organization, we're so grateful for the work that BioForward has done really in marketing Madison. So Madison is our third largest location. And one of the things that we find is the UW system is incredibly helpful in helping us find that entry-level talent there locally. And that's been wonderful, but we also have to play in the national market. I know Michael mentioned that as well. And we are successful at relocating a lot of people into the Madison area. But the work that BioForward is doing, I think, to help elevate the brand of Wisconsin as a hub for scientific and tech innovation versus agriculture, which I think is some of what it's historically known for, really is key to helping us continue to be successful in the Madison area. So with that, I hope that these, certainly this slide here that I didn't speak too much is really the services that we offer from our lab perspective at GMP, and the analytical testing we do. So anything from small molecule testing and biologics, gene and cell therapy, but also inhalation is a huge product that we service in a big division. So we have a lot of different service lines that we offer specifically in the Madison area. To clients from across the nation and the globe, really. So we're excited to continue to grow. We've done a lot of work, and we've got a strong and healthy trajectory in front of us.
Great. Thank you so much, Tara. That was awesome. So next up, we have Ross Gulati. Ross and I go back to 2015 when I first joined BioForward. He was the treasurer of the board, and he hung in there with me. He's a great guy, and he will be speaking on Eurofence.
Great. And Lisa, it was the best decision I've made in a long time to make sure we hired you. So you've done phenomenal things for BioForward and for the state and for the companies in the region. So good. Again, everyone, I'm Ross Gulati, representing Eurofins, who people may not even recognize the name. We are the artist formerly known as Covance Food Solutions. And we'll talk a little bit about Eurofins as a company, Covance, and the food business that we're in. And then really why we are here in Madison and continue to stay here for the long haul. So next slide, please. So Eurofins, if you look at it, really provides testing services in 4 main areas: environmental, pharmaceutical, clinical, and its really roots and foundation are in food. And that is really what happens here in the Madison lab, and we'll talk about. in a little bit more detail. We'll go through the history, but again, Eurofins was founded in 1987. It has grown to 900 independent companies, and we'll talk a little bit about the structure. 50 companies, 800 different labs, almost 50,000 people on a worldwide basis, performing, hundreds of thousands of different methods and millions of tests on an annual basis. And we really are focused on, contributing to a safer and healthier world, really by providing testing services across a broad platform of needs in the community. Next slide. So again, just a little more on the portfolio of services. Again, starting from a very small company in 1987, it's grown to be a $4 billion organization and continuing to grow on exponentially. In services ranging from the ag biotech section, biopharma, into forensics, and a lot of genomic services and diagnostic testing that's also provided. Next slide. What's really unique about Eurofins, though, is it is a independent network of global companies. So every business on a local level is a standalone business, has the entrepreneurial spirit, is really headed by a business unit manager and presidents that are really driven to serving their community. And there's very little corporate structure and oversight. The business units and the local competency centers are really driven to meet the needs at a local level without a very heavy corporate structure that sits across the top. Next slide. So again, looking at the history, the middle branch here, and we'll talk about that first, is really Eurofins. Again, started in 1987. It was 10 staff in France. Our CEO and founder, who is still very active in the business and really controls the company, started out testing authenticity of wine in France, has really taken this company into amazing places. Had its IPO in 1997 and entered the US market. Had a lot of investment in infrastructure as well as a significant amount of growth through acquisitions, and grew heavily. And in 2018 acquired what was Covance Food Solutions. This was the second largest acquisition that Eurofins had ever done. And it's a significant amount of doubling the size of the business in North America, which was our primary market. If you look at the top branch, it really talks to what the legacy Covance Food Solutions. And we have a long history in the Madison area. We date ourselves and tie ourselves back to 1929, coming out of the wharf and development of vitamin D method and testing in milk. So we've had a long partnership with the UW system throughout the years. We have relied on the talent in the local community to really grow and develop our business. And it really is the core of what we do, is the people we have and the talent that we have here in the Madison area. Again, a lot of slow, kind of methodical growth, but really tying in some major programs, tying in with the FDA in setting up food regulations, working with NASA and the space shuttle and moon missions to really develop healthy foods that were going to be survive in space. A real big player in testing of infant formula and developing unique methods for that. And then as we've continued to grow into the food and the supplement area, which is just counts for almost 50% of our business now, is testing supplements, which is really a strong market and a growth area we see as we go forward. So again, in 2018, we were acquired by the Eurofins. And at that point in time, frankly, we had some decisions to make, and we'll talk about that in a minute. If you go to the next slide, So looking at our food business, we really provide services from an end to end. So we have services that talk about product with product design. So as clients are looking at, for example, taking refined sugars out of products, and how would you do that? We have consumer research in that space to help people understand, are consumers going to like these new products? We then work with raw materials vendors and supplier verification, GMO certification, a number of different things. We then tie into the finished products, including doing stability studies, ensuring batch releases, all of the label claim work we do. And we also then work on process development. And clearly the last piece is crisis management. There have always been a number of different things that come up in the food supply chain. You need a partner that can be there with services to develop unique methods or just be able to scale capacity. And that's what we do and have provided for many years. Go to the next slide. So again, we are going to be expanding here, but frankly, there was a fork in the road, right? When we got acquired in 2018, we have to be out of we're co-located in a Covance facility. We need to be out of that. We had a 3-year lease. And the question was, well, what do we do? We did look at, frankly, moving to other locations and combining with other Eurofins sites and moving. But when we looked at what we are at the heart, what has made us successful is the scientific talent and the people that we have in the organization. And we felt the relocation would be significantly disruptive to that group of people. A lot of the people just don't ever want to leave the city of Madison. It's a great place to raise families, and you really have to really blow people out of here. We didn't feel we'd have a good chance of relocating the critical resources of our staff. And we always say that, frankly, our sales team sells the first set of samples. Our scientists and our chemists and our lab staff deliver every other sale, because it's really what you do in delivering on time and high quality results to our clients. So thanks to partnerships with UW-Madison, with BioForward, great cooperation from the city of Madison. And don't ever say the city of Madison doesn't want to work with people. They were very cooperative of us in getting this new facility built. We have 22 acres that we've bought just up the road, right across the street from the airport. We have great partnerships with Strang as our architect and Findorf as our construction manager. We are scheduled to move into our facility in early 2021. We will locate 400 people into that lab. It's a 108 square thousand foot single story facility. We have a lot of really good high paying jobs that are going to be in the community, thanks to the partnerships that we have built and the resources available in the area. So that's a little bit about Eurofins and our new facility.
Great. Thank you so much, Ross. That was awesome. And congratulations on the expansion for all of you guys expanding in Wisconsin. So I'm going to go to a question. Although I said we all needed a COVID break, I'm going to go to COVID. And I would like all of you to tell us about your COVID-19 response. I know all of you have done a great job of putting in procedures, policies to protect your employees, but could you talk a little bit about how you've had to pivot as a company on the product line, or maybe where new opportunities have come through for you, and where some maybe have also hurt, obviously because of COVID, that you haven't had as strong a revenue in some other product lines? And not that you should go into great detail, but really just kind of discussing maybe where your pivots have been around your company with COVID. Tara, why don't we start with you on what you're seeing? You did mention a little bit that you guys have started to work on some manufacturing, but why don't we start with you, go to Michael, and then Ross. Oh, wait, you're on mute, Tara. There we go.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we have been fortunate in this of course, terrible situation in that the industry we're in and our clients that we serve are all part of this solution. So our work has increased, specifically related to COVID vaccines, COVID related therapies that will help patients. And so we have a high demand for work right now. And our pivots are really more related to employee safety and how we carry through business continuity. So like most people, flexing to, work from home schedules when we can, only really having our staff on site when that's critical, which is not all the time in a lab setting. So having people do data review at home, and really we've seen a great success with electronic and technology adoption that's helped us significantly, as an organization and a business. So I think we, like all, are probably trying to make the best of what is a very difficult time, but staying focused on ensuring that we have appropriate social distancing. Of course, we have all the things in place around PPE and those things for our staff, but really navigating, how we continue to carry that through and deliver. So I think those are really the things that we're focused on from an employee safety perspective.
Great. Thanks. Michael, how about you? I mean, I know, especially I think in the antibody testing area with proteins, you guys have had, again, a pivot to a whole new product area. Could you tell us just a little bit about some of the areas that Aldevron is focusing on with COVID?
It's been amazing. And I think, if you look at the industry as a whole, we learn a lot more in times of crisis than in times of ease. And it's been quite remarkable on all fields, how quickly the biotech industry has sort of galvanized and come together and invested in new technologies and new ways of doing things. And on all fronts, from scientific to regulatory to development, things are happening so fast right now. So certainly all of our platforms are seeing a pretty dramatic increase. I think as a company, we're working on a total of about 30 different COVID projects right now. And that spans antibody development, as you had mentioned. Our team in Freiburg is making antibodies. The team in Madison is making a lot of proteins, spike protein, different things for vaccine development and treatments and diagnosis. And same thing in Aldevron. Nucleic acids form the basis for a lot of the vaccines that are in development right now, whether they're plasmid vaccines or RNA vaccines. Different cell type vaccines or cellular therapy type vaccines are in development. And so it's been really remarkable. And what is, so we're thinking a lot about COVID. We're addressing that right now, but we're talking with a lot of industry partners about how what we're learning now will translate to other areas of medicine. Like, if we can develop COVID treatment so quickly, can we apply some of this new learning, some of this 2020 thinking to oncology development? So we're already thinking about that in terms of how we apply things. And so that's sort of how we pivoted. And in terms of how we're working, we have different geographies. So Fargo was pretty active. Our North Dakota, we wanted to really observe our regulations here, and in Wisconsin, there were different regulations there. And so the teams are coming back to work now. And so we're doing that. Certainly we have all the PPE in place, and we're continuously, just like every other company, evaluating those things. But it's very interesting times, and I think it's going to be, interesting a year from now to look back and just see how this has changed drug development. And I think there's going to be a lot of positives.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I think it's great. I agree with you. I think it's, I heard a comedian making fun of using the term unprecedented, and you hate overusing that word over again, but it is amazing to see the collaborations that are happening and the speed of which we're moving. And that's what's going to be interesting in our vaccine panel, just to hear about how fast this is going forward. So it's a good perspective that I hope this can carry on forward into other disease states. So Ross, how about you? How has Eurofins had to pivot?
Yeah, so as a corporation, we actually have very active in the COVID space also. We have actual COVID testing. We have antibody testing we've ramped up, and we've developed actually environmental swab testing. And so at a global corporate level, we're putting all of these testing in place, working with unique, entities to provide these services. But we're also packaging it in some unique ways for our food customers, right? We're calling it Safer at Work, where we're looking at going in and consulting as people bring people back into the workplace. How do they, test employees, test surfaces, have a really robust program to have Safer at Work for all of our employees. So we're working with governments, we're working with a lot of our food manufacturers to helping them ensure the supply chain. At a more local level, I mean, we clearly, the first thing we've done is really focusing on our safety of our employees, all the social distancing, going to multiple shifts so that we could really continue the operation, because food supply chain is critical and was essential throughout the whole process. We saw a lot of, research maybe fell down, but, our infant formula clients were seeing double and triple the spike in demand. So we were seeing a lot more demand for our testing services in that area and our supplements clients. So it was a pivot in a lot of different ways, both at the corporate level, as we take those unique services and really say, how does it apply into the food space, as well as what we're seeing with our unique food clients. So it's been very dynamic. Not a lot of sleep by a lot of people, I think, in the last 60 days.
Sounds good. We need to be wrapping up, but I did want to get, there's a question that came in. Here, I'm just looking now. And this is interesting. And I was glad, Tara, that you came back on. I was getting nervous that you went away. We only have a few minutes, but it's a topic that deserves a lot more conversation, but I still would like all of you just to address it. The question is, what, as you as companies, again, you're expanding here, but as you look at your workforce, your talent workforce, and trying to create more diversity in the workforce, what are some of the issues you're running into, or how are you trying to implement some of that diversity into your workforce? Whoever wants to start off on that. Ross, we'll start with you. You've been at the end. I mean, are there things that you're looking at on the diversity issue? It is difficult, more difficult in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working in a leader in Wisconsin for 30 years, right? And this has been something we've always fought with, right? But I think part of it is you just got to continue to look for it, right? And you got to make sure when you have those jobs that I got to have a diverse slate, right? I need to have a diverse slate, and it's got to start with us as the leaders of the business, right? And we've got to be able to flow that down. We need to work with our universities to promote, the diversity and have those students. And so, those partnerships through organizations where we're reaching out even, very younger ages to, develop, talent in the ethnic and the communities of diversity, and make sure that they're getting the educations that we're going to need to really become leaders in the 21st century. So it starts early. You got to get into the high schools. You got to, and we have to be out there. There's no immediate payback to some of that stuff, but look, we've been here for 90 years. We're going to be here for 90 more years. We've got to make some investments in, the youth of our community, so that they have the skills and talents as we go forward.
Yeah, BioForward has invested in STEM education. Same thing. I mean, we have to be willing to make the investments, right? We can't just talk about it. Michael or Tara, would you like to have any other comments on this?
Yeah, certainly diversity is a huge focus for us. And on the talent side, I mean, I agree with many of the things that Ross said. And you have to have leadership buy-in, and PPD is really focused on this and very supportive. So I think, looking across not just diversity, I mean, from a talent perspective, it takes leadership support and it takes building diverse slates, as you mentioned, and really thinking about where you find those people. And then, of course, always hiring the best and the top talent at the end of the day. But beyond that is really our focus of also having an inclusive workplace, right? Because you have to have a place people want to come in and feel comfortable, and just to be successful. So there's clearly business gains to having a diverse workforce. So it is something we're super focused on. And there are a lot of partners we have there locally, from supporting people with disabilities to veterans, and then out looking into, other forms of diversity. And for some of it, you do have to reach outside of the local area, just because when we look at race or ethnicity, Madison doesn't have a lot of that naturally.
Right. Michael, did you have any other comments you want to add?
I think Ross and Tara said it well, and we approach things in similar ways. And it's so important to have a good, diverse organization in terms of especially thought. And so we try to keep a very flat organization in terms of how we interact, and we really try to encourage everybody to be part of the mission. And they are, no matter what you do at Aldevron, you're helping to advance these therapies, and that's something we continue to convey. I like what Ross said, and I think Tara touched on this too. Working with STEM and different institutions. So we will we try to reach down into the high schools. We fund a lot of science centers, for instance, and try to do different programs for youth and the different groups that Tara mentioned as well. And so yeah, we really do encourage that and just focus on hiring the very, very best people, and that results in a pretty diverse workforce and platform.
Great. Well, the unfortunate thing about these panels is we could go on. I had other questions, obviously, for these panelists, and we're not going to get to them because we have to move on, and hopefully we can bring up our vaccine panel. You guys were good luck. I obviously, I'm going to blame my chairman and treasurer. That's their fault that we had technological problems. Nobody wanted to hear them. But they wanted to hear you, and this is a great thing. So thank you so much, and thank you for all that you do and with your companies, and also expanding in Wisconsin. And we look forward to have you continuing to expand in the future. So thank you once again.